Good morning, everyone. I am Gautam Bhagat of MTech second year. I am going to present my work on smart agriculture using IoT under the supervision of my supervisor, Mrs. Pooja Sharma. Here is the presentation outline. Abstract. Approximately 70% of Indian population depends on agriculture directly or indirectly. Today, India's population is approximately 1.39 billion. This is a huge number. As the population is increasing, demand of food is also increasing. However, the traditional farming ways are not sufficient to meet increasing demands. The only ways to meet these demands are first is accuracy, so that we are going to reduce our wastage of our resources and time, and the other is increasing the production rate. For achieving these two ways, we are going to automate whole farming practices. When we are automating it, we are going to use Internet of Things and machine learning. Internet of Things is used to connect sensors with servers and servers with actuators and vice versa. And machine learning is used to make a prediction model. When we are going to make a prediction model, we are making a choosing a best prediction algorithm. Now, when I was doing research, I compared 5 different algorithms, namely random forest, linear, ridge, lasso, and elastic net regression algorithm. All of these are regression algorithms. And when I compared these on the basis of their root mean squared values, error values, I found that random forest regression algorithm has the minimum RMS error value, that is approximately 0.0795. So I chose random forest algorithm. Now moving towards introduction. Under this we are going to introduce about agriculture, IoT, agriculture and IoT and machine learning. Now moving towards agriculture. Agriculture is a way of life to meet our needs from plants and animals. From plants we get food, clothes, medicines, okay, and from animals we get flesh, dairy products. Okay. Now there are two types of agriculture. One is normal and the other is smart. In normal we use our old traditional ways like plow, etc. And in smart agriculture we are going to automate whole farming practices. Okay. Now for in smart agriculture we are going to automate whole farming practices. Now moving towards Internet of Things. Internet of Things is, as the name suggests, is the interconnection of things, various things. Okay. As you see on the graph, every year number of devices that are connected to each other are increasing. Until 2020, the number of devices connected are 50.1 billion. If we see the market share of Internet of Things, it is approximately 40.2% from industries, 30.3% from healthcare, 8.3% from groceries, and 10.7% from surveillance. Now we are going to introduce IoT in agriculture. No, we have various sensors like sensors of measuring moisture, measuring temperature. Okay. Now we get data from these sensors and we want to process it. Okay. Now we have servers for processing the data. Now we want to send data from sensor to the server. Here we are going to use Internet of Things. We are going to send data from sensors to the servers via internet. Okay. Then at server we are going to process. Server may be at a room near the field or maybe at cloud. Okay. Now when the data is processed and when section is need to be done, and this information will be sent to various actuators. Actuators are devices which are going to perform according to the information. Okay, maybe it is a valve to open the valve of water or close it, whatever. Okay, then additionally we can include mobile phone, so that if there is any problem in the field there will be a notification on the mobile phone. And for example, we can take example here. We can take example of irrigation, lead drip irrigation, in which we are going to provide water to the field in drop by drop, and when there is the moisture level exceeds the threshold, okay, so it should stop, and this threshold will be checked by sensors. They will send this data to the server, so that the moisture level is above threshold. Now you have to close the valve, and servers will process the data and ask actuators to close the valve. We can take another example of soil treatment. Here we are going to sense the amount of minerals in the soil, and according to this data we are going to provide various minerals to the soil. We can also take example of rearing livestock. We can also take example of aquaponics or hydroponics. Basically in hydroponics we don't use soil, instead we use water, okay, like we do in money plants at our home. Okay. Here the minerals are provided through the water. Now moving towards application of IoT in agriculture. There are various applications of IoT in agriculture. The first one is sensor technology. Due to sensor technology, we are going to sense data by sensors. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for a human to sense the data manually. Okay, then we have RFID technology. Here we can use RFID tags on animals, various animals, so that we can identify them, we can track them. Okay. Then there is radio transmission technology. Here it is used to send data from one device to the other using radio transmission signal. Okay. Then we have intelligent irrigation technology. It is, we can also say that it is a kind of smart irrigation, where decisions based on irrigation are taken directly on the basis of data processed by the server. Okay. Then we have technical quality safety. Okay, here safety of various products, agriculture products, is done by checking the safety of various agriculture products is done by IoT automatically. And the final is precision seeding and spraying techniques. Here we want to know how to sow the various seeds and what should be the minimum distance between these seeds, and also how we are going to spray and where we are going to spray various insecticides, pesticides or fertilizers, whatever it is. Now moving towards the benefits of IoT in agriculture. There are many benefits of IoT in agriculture. Due to addition or introducing of IoT in agriculture, the efficiency of any action done is increased. Okay. Then since IoT is one time investment, okay, but later then it will help in cost reduction, as we will not spend on extra buying extra fertilizers, extra weedicides, pesticides or extra seeds, and also will reduce investment on human labor. Okay, then in total it will be a cost reduction. Also it will be profitability, it will be sustainability, it will also help in food safety. Okay. Okay. And also it will help in environment protection, as the various waste material release of various waste materials is reduced. Okay. Now moving towards machine learning. Machine learning is also used in agriculture. Okay, machine learning is used in various servers. Okay, when we need to make various prediction models. When we get data from our sensors, we need this data to be processed. Okay, and then we have to take various actions according to this processed data. This processing is done by our servers, and this processing and various information produced or various actions to be taken will be decided by the various prediction algorithms or prediction models. Okay. In prediction models we have two types of learning. One is supervised learning, other is unsupervised learning. In supervised learning we are going to tell the model or algorithm, we are going to tell it what it has to do on a particular case. Okay, we have defined each and every case for it, and it will do according to that. Okay, but in unsupervised learning we only make it learn from various data set. Okay, then it will act upon new cases which it have not seen. Okay. Then in supervised learning we have two types, one is classification and other is regression. Okay. And the classification is discrete one and regression is continuous. Okay. Then we have again training and testing set. When we are here we are going to use regression in our thesis. So it has two parts. Any data set has two parts, that is training set and testing set. Okay. Training set is approximately we divide it into 7:3 ratio or 9:1 ratio. Then in training set this data is used to train the algorithm. Okay. Then testing set is used to test the algorithm. In the testing set this data is provided to our algorithm, it will predict the data. Okay, then we compare the predicted data and the output of testing set. Okay, already we have got the output. Okay, then we predict and then we compare the difference. Okay, then we get what is the error accuracy, and we keep on training our algorithm until the error is minimum. Okay. No, there is literature survey. Okay. I have gone through various research papers, and mainly these research papers are mainly based on IoT, machine learning, and agriculture. Okay, and all of them have done either one work or other work in the field of agriculture, like crop disease, weed management. Okay, cultivation, irrigation. Okay, some are done in reduction in cost. Some are done in reducing the execution time and latency. Okay, this data set is of NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and how much amount of each mineral is required is done based on the prediction. Okay. Also, some have done in predicting climatic conditions, predicting epidemic diseases in future. Some have done work in monitoring and recommendation, okay, using mainly using IT and machine learning, and these both are incorporated in agriculture. Okay. Also, some have done in how to avoid IoT security threats. Some have done work in security systems. Some have done work in application of deep reinforcement learning. Some have done work in improving, taking a small model of agriculture and implementing IoT in it. Okay, then making this small IoT, this small framework into a large field. Okay, that is scaling IoT. Then some have done in done work on analysis and monitoring the field, analyzing various problems in the field, and taking action according to that. Seeing whether taking image using image processing and seeing whether water is required or fertilizer is required, or if there is any damaged crop. And finally, and most important, prediction irrigation and precision agriculture. The outcome of this literature is that everyone is trying to do automation. Okay, not fully, but to some extent. Okay, they are trying to increase the efficiency by increasing the accuracy. They are trying to do monitoring. They are trying to do analysis. Okay, and they are also doing the prediction. This whole system is based on prediction. Okay, and this accuracy, efficiency, this is increased by prediction. They are predicting what if we do this thing, then what will we get. Okay, now moving towards motivation. I divide motivation into two parts: general and research. In general, I am this is the motivation is from my feelings, my personal experience. Okay, I have been working on agriculture from past few years. Okay, so what I have seen is that for increasing, every farmer did this. For increasing the output, they believed that increasing agriculture land will increase their output. And for increasing agriculture land, they mainly did it by cutting or chopping the forest area trees in various forest areas. Okay, so I had a desire to increase the production without increasing agriculture area, so I did working on it. Okay, I started working on it. Okay, I came to know that in kitchen garden we can do this by making a field on our rooftop or in our balcony. Okay, but the problem with kitchen garden is after some time there is a depletion of various minerals. And we have to check various minerals and add those minerals into the soil, but there is a problem of depletion of various minerals in kitchen garden. Then also I had worked on polyhouse farming. Okay, in which we make a small environment, okay, under a green sheet, and then we provide the required amount of temperature, moisture, etc. to them. Okay, also there is also a condition of hydroponics, where we don't use soil, we grow plants in water, not in water, actually on a surface. Okay, we attach the plants there and the roots will be under it, and there will be continuous water flowing through a pipe uh, on which these crops or vegetables are attached, and through water various minerals will be provided to them, to those roots. Okay. So now to increase this productivity or efficiency, okay, without increasing the agricultural land, the only way is you adding or introducing IoT in agriculture, so that we can automate it. Okay, now also the main motivation is there is very less research done in agriculture using IoT. Okay, the other part is research. Okay, as I said that minimum research is done in this field as a whole. Actually, there is various research done, but only on a small scale. Okay, like some have done for prediction, some have done for increasing efficiency or increasing accuracy, some have done for analysis, some have done for monitoring, but not as a whole automation system. Okay, here whole automation system is required. Okay? And other is I wanted to calculate various algos for predicting various action. Okay, and best algorithm for getting best algorithm. I had compared many algorithms. I wanted to compare many algorithms. So and choosing the best algorithm among that. Okay, and this choosing best algorithm is based on the minimum RMS error value. Now moving towards proposed methodology. As I already mentioned that various parts of agriculture here are IoT in agriculture are sensors, servers, and actuators mainly. Okay, we know that sensors are those devices which sense the data from our field, okay, and send it to the servers. Servers are a place on either in a server room or on cloud, which process the data and takes various actions. Okay, then this information is sent to the actuators. Okay, actuators are devices which take action. Okay. Then we can also add mobile phone as a part of IoT in agriculture, as when we have any problem which needs human intervention, then we are going to send the notification to the person on his phone, his or her phone. No, we are going to see about server. Okay, server mainly consists of prediction model, and this prediction model is created by using a data set. Okay, our data set has two parts: training part and testing part. Training part is used to train our model or algo. Okay, and testing part is used to test its accuracy. Okay, while we are training our model via the training part, then when we are testing it, we are using the various variables from the testing part, make a prediction, okay, according to what it has learned from training part, then make a prediction and compare this prediction with the original output value of testing set. Okay, and according to this comparison we are going to calculate the accuracy or error, and then we will try to reduce the error by performing this action again and again. Okay, and then we are comparing various algos and choosing the best algo among these algos, which has the minimum RMS error value. Now our flowchart will be like this. We are going to collect the data set. Okay. Then we will divide this data set into two parts: train set and test set. Okay. Then we are going to train the model using training set. Then we are going to test the model using test set. Okay. Then we check accuracy or compare the predicted value and original output value, and check for accuracy using root mean squared error value. Okay. Then many algorithms are chosen and are taken, and we will perform the same action and calculate the RMS value error value, and we will compare these RMS values, and the algo with minimum RMS error value will be selected or chosen. Then when we get the best algorithm, then this algorithm is going to be implemented in our prediction model. Now moving towards implementation. In implementation part, we are taking 5 different algorithms, namely random forest regression algorithm, linear regression algorithm, ridge regression algorithm, lasso regression algorithm, and elastic net regression algorithm. Okay, all of these algorithms are regression algorithms and come under supervised algorithm. Okay, now in random forest regression algorithm, it is a kind of here we make use of decision trees. Various decision trees act upon the training set and make a prediction model, and when we get the various predictions, okay, and we take a summation of all the predictions or average of all the prediction values, and make a general prediction. Okay, in linear regression it is a kind of linear equation like y is equal to mx plus c for two variables, and or if you have more than two variables, then we make a generalized equation of y equal to a1x1 plus a2x2, similarly like it. Okay, and here we make a graph between various in input values and output values. Okay. Then we have ridge regression. Okay. This is a modified linear regression, but we are adding a loss function in it. Okay. Then we have lasso regression. It is also a modified linear regression algorithm, but we have a limit in it. Like we are adding a loss function alpha, then we are limiting its value to maximum 1. Okay. Then we have elastic net regression. This is a combination of properties of ridge regression and lasso regression. Then we have various error metrics for regression, mainly three. Okay, the first is mean absolute error, second is mean squared error, and third is root mean squared error. Okay. All of these can be used in regression, but in our prediction models, the best one is root mean squared error. Okay, why RMSE is best? Okay, there are two reasons. One is it is scale dependent, and the other is it is best for single variables of multiple models. That is, when we are taking a single variable in from every model. Okay, then we are comparing this only single variable. Okay, and we are calculating based on this variable. We are calculating our RMSE value, and we are comparing this RMSE value. Okay, in our implementation, we are comparing the RMSE value of every algorithm we have used, and then we are choosing the best prediction algo based on the RMSE value. That is, the algo which has minimum RMSE value is chosen. Here is the comparison table of various RMSE values of 5 different algorithms. Okay. And if we see from the RMSE values, you get to know that random forest regression algorithm has the minimum RMSE value, that is approximately 0.0795. Okay, then so we are choosing the random forest regression algorithm for our dataset, and moreover, and also our dataset contains of 505 rows. Okay, it is based on this dataset. Now we also have a bar chart for RMSE values. Okay, as we can see from the chart, random forest regression algorithm has the minimum value of RMSE error, RMS error. Okay, now when we have calculated RMS errors of various algorithms, and we have compared them and chosen the minimum RMS value, that is of random forest regression algorithm. Now we got our regression algorithm, and now we are going to use this regression algorithm in our prediction model. Okay, okay, whatever we have prediction model, we are going to use this algorithm in our prediction model. Okay. Now finally moving towards our conclusion. As we are considering RMS error value, okay, then we are choosing that algorithm which has a minimum RMSE value. Okay, and in this case, or for this dataset, we get random forest regression algorithm has the minimum RMSE value. Okay, for it, RMSE value is approximately 0.0795, which is quite acceptable. Okay. Furthermore, for every algorithm I have taken the minimum possible RMSE value. Okay, and to get the minimum RMSE value for any algorithm, I have changed the set ratio. That is, earlier I had used 9:1, then I changed to 8:2, then I changed to 7:3, and this ratio is of training is to test set. Okay, the number of values in training set is to number of values in test set. Okay, then I have also reduced RMSE value by changing the value of static value from 0 to any other number. Okay, then also error reduction can be done by changing the number of decision trees, mainly in random forest regression algorithm. Okay, and for random forest regression algorithm, I have used decision trees value equal to 50. That has given me minimum RMSE error value. Okay. Finally, this algorithm, that is random forest regression algorithm at server, provides the automation to a large extent. Now, for accuracy, we need more and more algorithms. Then we can change or make code according to our need, and then we will perform testing on various algorithms and check their RMSE value, and then we will compare these values so that we can get the best algorithm. Okay. Further, we can for more accuracy and choosing the best algorithm, we have to, or we can increase the dataset size from merely 100 rows to 1000 rows. Then we can also make our agriculture automated by or for doing automation we can add deep learning and artificial intelligence and various other fields into it. No references. Thank you.